told me room 306 didn't exist anymore. Then why did I see someone walk into it last night? I work the night shift at a small, aging hotel off the highway, the kind of place that's stuck in time. Mustard-colored wallpaper, buzzing, fluorescent lights, and a faint smell of damp carpet that never really goes away. Most nights are uneventful, a few travelers, sometimes locals who don't want to go home, and every now and then, someone who walks in and just feels off. But there's one thing we all avoid talking about. Room 306, we don't book it, we don't clean it, and we definitely don't go near it after dark. Back in 2004, a woman named Elena Marsh checked into room 306. She was traveling alone, nothing unusual about her on paper. But the next morning, housekeeping found her sitting on the edge of the bed, eyes wide open, completely still, dead, no wounds, no signs of a struggle, just gone. And the weirdest part, the mirror in the room was fogged, like someone had just taken a hot shower, even though the air conditioning had been running all night, and carved into the condensation, backward, as if scratched from the inside out, was her name, Elena. They sealed the room that day, took it off the booking system, padlocked the door. Management claimed it was due to structural damage, but we all knew the truth. Even new employees are told early on, don't touch room 306. Don't talk about room 306. I didn't believe in ghosts, not until last week. It was raining hard that night, the kind of rain that makes everything feel quieter, heavier. I was alone at the front desk, half asleep, flipping through the guest book when the front door creaked open. She stepped in, soaked from head to toe, wearing an old-fashioned trench coat that dripped onto the floor. Her hair clung to her pale face. She didn't look lost or panicked, just blank. "Do you have any vacancies?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I nodded. "We do." I started to offer her one of the available rooms, but she interrupted me. "No, I need room 306. My stomach dropped. I forced a smile, trying to sound casual. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but that room's been closed for years." She looked at me with wide, unblinking eyes and said, "He's still in there." My hand froze over the keyboard. I'm sorry. What? Her eyes didn't leave mine. The mirror opened again. Before I could react, she turned and walked, not toward the elevator, but straight up the old staircase, her wet shoes making soft slaps against the steps. I called out, told her to stop, but she never even looked back. I ran after her, up 2 flights, heart pounding. But when I got to the hallway, it was empty. Room 306 still stood at the end, padlocked, sealed, untouched. The lock hadn't been tampered with, no signs of entry. She was nowhere. I felt a chill run up my spine. Maybe she turned into another room. Maybe I imagined it. I rushed back, down to check the security footage. Maybe the camera caught something I missed. At first, everything looked normal, until the timestamp hit 12:14 a.m. The screen glitched, static flickered, and then, there she was, standing inside room 306, facing the mirror. But the room was sealed, and there were no keys. No one had gone in, not in 20 years. I replayed the footage at least 20 times. That same timestamp, 12:14 a.m., was where everything changed. The footage flickered, the image distorted, and then, there she was. Inside room 306. She wasn't just in the room, she was staring into the mirror, the very same one Elena Marsh had died in front of. Her hands were by her side, her head tilted, like she was listening to something. The worst part, she was smiling. I couldn't breathe. That room was sealed. The padlock hadn't moved, and I was the only one with the master key. I went back up again, just to be sure. The hallway was silent, suffocating almost. The padlock was still in place, exactly how it had been for years. But as I leaned in, something caught my eye. The inside of the peephole was fogged, like someone had exhaled on it from the other side. I stepped back quickly and nearly tripped. My instincts screamed at me to leave it alone, but curiosity, or maybe fear, pulled me in. The next night, I broke the seal and entered room 306 for the first time. Dust-coated. Everything. The curtains were moth-eaten. The bed sheets had yellowed. But the mirror was clean. Too clean. I stepped closer. That's when the fog began to appear. Slow, like breath against glass. Then words started to form. One of you. I froze. The letters were jagged, shaky, but deliberate, like they were being etched from the inside. I backed out of the room slowly, heart hammering in my ears, locked it, walked away. I didn't sleep that day, couldn't eat, couldn't stop thinking about what I saw. The following night, 12:14 a.m., I went up again. This time, the mirror was already fogged when I opened the door. 3 new words. Still, here. I slammed the door and left. But I made a mistake that night. I left the door unlocked and room 306 was open. I didn't mean to leave the door unlocked. That night, I told myself I wouldn't go back up, that I was done. But something about those words, still here, burrowed deep into me, like the mirror wasn't just showing them, it was speaking to me. I stayed downstairs watching the monitor. Midnight passed. Nothing. Then, exactly at 12:14 a.m., the hallway camera cut to static. When it came back on a few seconds later, the door to room 306 was wide open. The lights inside were on, flickering. And something, was standing just behind the threshold. It wasn't the woman from before. This figure was tall, emaciated, limbs far too long for a human. The head hung slightly to one side like it was broken, twitching in unnatural jerks. It didn't step out, just stood there, watching the hallway. I wanted to run, but I had to know. I grabbed the emergency axe from the wall. I don't know. Why? Maybe to feel safer, and went back up. Each step felt like a countdown. The hallway was pitch dark. Though every other floor had power, I could hear buzzing. Not from the lights, but from the room itself, like static pulsing in the walls. As I approached 306, the door creaked, open, inviting. I peeked in. The room looked new, like time had reversed. Clean sheets, fresh curtains, like someone had just checked in. And the mirror, it was glowing, not reflecting, but glowing. Dim, bluish light, like moonlight underwater. I stepped closer, unable to stop myself. That's when I saw myself in the mirror, except I wasn't moving. My reflection stood perfectly still while I trembled in front of it. Then it smiled. I didn't, but it did. The light in the room flickered, and the reflection reached out of the glass. Fingers touched the inside surface. Fog forming once again. This time it wrote, "You opened the door." I turned to run, but the room had changed. The hallway was gone. The door was gone. The walls had shifted. I was inside, but not in. Any place I recognized, like a version of the room pulled from a nightmare. I don't remember how I got out. I woke up in the staff lounge, the axe gone, the cameras fried. The owner told me room 306 was never opened, that I must have fallen asleep. But when I looked at the footage, what was left of it, it showed me walking up and never coming down. Since that night, every time I pass the second floor, I hear someone whispering my name from behind that door, and last night, the mirror fogged again. Just 3 new words. Next is you. Subscribe for more nightly horror, if you dare.